Welcome to Revlog, where Aaron is ready for Holy Week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a good week, and Brian's working on some new material, so we're looking forward to that. See what's going to come out of his world.
The debut will be here. Good.
Yeah, we expect that. So this week we have another difficult text, and especially difficult for Holy Week this week. But we are in 2 Samuel 13. 1 through 33. So let's go ahead and jump into the text. Bryan, what were your initial reactions and thoughts to this text?
This is part of the narrative of the rise of Absalom. It's the backstory, really.
Yeah.
This is, in the eyes of some in the palace administration, as you read through this, you think, this incident, for all the royal watchers, in the administration, this incident just might prove that Absalom has no tolerance for undisciplined shenanigans. On the one hand, Amnon, and everybody knew this, I'm sure, was a careless, spoiled frat boy, an odious person, and oh, by the way, a sexual predator, it turns out. And as such, he was a stain on the honor of the royal family. And so, like it or not, you really want to root for Absalom here. You think he's going to get his comeuppance, Amnon is, and Absalom seems like a good organizer, patient, charismatic leader. People follow him, and he gets things done. And specifically, he probably reminds some people of David, in the way that he executes a plan and carries things out. So it's sort of like the primary season of royal politics here. They're looking around for successors.
Chapters to follow. I mean, that's exactly right. Absalom really knows how to grease a palm and just a glad hand and maneuver so that his people are where it really is. It's interesting that you say that. Absalom looks like the good guy. For a little bit.
He does. And he has those characteristics of David in spades, some of them.
Yeah, and he is genuinely bringing justice to his sister.
That's right.
And she deserves justice.
Of course she does.
And he's bringing that with a heavy hand. But just continue your thoughts, Aaron, your thoughts and reactions to this
I'm
text.
looking at Amnon here, and we're just 2 chapters removed from David's fall from grace here and the way he dealt with it. It makes me believe that perhaps this wasn't a palace secret. This was, David sought out Bathsheba. Who is this? And so the mutterings of what happened. And so his children were probably aware to some degree, and we don't know how much farther along this was than this Bathsheba incident. But here, this son Amnon sees or has heard about what his dad did, and he basically is doing the same thing. What strikes me is how insidious sexual sin is. That when you get so consumed by it, that you just will do anything. We just read, and you hear Tamar's response. She says, "Just ask Dad."
Yeah, exactly.
Just ask the king.
That's right. And how noble in.
Yes, I mean she is such a glowing figure in this story that is so treated poorly and off. Right. I mean, it's just terrible.
Oh, your heart goes out.
And
to her.
She's just saying, "Can you wait?" And again, sexual sin is just so insidious; it just consumes, and he can't. And then he despises her. It's just tragic. And my observation is, maybe not just sexual sin, but sin in general. Once it invades you, you can't see anything else.
Well, even biblically, there seems to be another level of destruction ascribed to sexual sin. I mean, it just seems like the destruction that it causes in yourself and in those around you.
Where you use and abuse people, and this is what powerful people without restraint do.
Yeah. Well, let's move then to questions of the text. Bryan, what was a question that arose out of the text for you?
My question is, what biography of David's life is Absalom reading here? Because one biography presents David as a decisive, politically savvy, charismatic leader and warrior, and this is the biography that apparently inspires Absalom. And then another biography, which is really David's autobiography, is revealed to us through the Psalms. And you see David as wretched, lost, and tossed, and calling out for God and for forgiveness, and from before troubles overwhelm him. And I think we all have several biographies, and that people could read about us, because people are complex.
Yeah.
They are. And so I wonder, which biography am I reading of people's lives that I want to emulate? You know, which qualities do I want to emulate?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Aaron?
So I'm wondering, similarly to that, is these two sons looking at David, and then how much of David's own grief or guilt dictates his reaction to his sons who does this horrible thing, and it says David was angry, but that's it.
Right.
Is David's response or lack of response well, I really can't get on to him because I basically have done the same thing, when sin impacts the second and third generation, is this one of these instances? And David's going, what can I do? That here's my life lived out. I can't really hold him accountable. I mean, it's a terrible narrative all the way through, but he seems frozen, and then Absalom.
That's a good word.
It is
He
a good
does
word.
seem stuck, doesn't he? Just frozen. And
it's amazing those aftershocks of sin,
Yes.
how they continue to reverberate through the family here, which is common with these kinds of sins. And I'm with you there. I think the question is, why didn't David respond? Where is David in this text?
Yes.
I mean, he should have brought justice to his daughter.
Right.
I mean, it shouldn't have been Absalom. So why not?
Yeah.
We'd love for you to help us think through this difficult text, and so we'd love for you to comment below. Thank you.